Morning, folks. Today's Wednesday. It's definitely hump day. Day soap is brought to us from PannaCrema. I think that's how you pronounce it. Right there. Anyway, this is this particular jar is about 5.4 ounces or 160 milliliters. I'm reading it off right here. And it comes with a tin lid, but this glass container is pretty nice. It has a really nice feel to it. Excuse me. And so what the soap looks like there on the inside. And if the light is washing out the color, it's kind of I guess you might say a little bit of a off-white, maybe a little bit of a beige color to it. But pretty easy to scrape out of the container, whip it up in a bowl. Got it down here, I'll show you in just a moment. If you're wondering about the scent profile, I got a link down below for all this stuff, by the way, which I typically do in case I forget to mention it from video to video. Anyway, sometimes I get wrapped up in other thoughts in my head. Anyway, some of the thought when I was smelling this that I picked up as well as off of the list is it does have a woody scent to it. It says it has oriental, but I don't know that my nose can pick that up or not because my nose doesn't work all that well. Amber, oud, tobacco, musk. What my nose picks up is definitely pick up the wood and the tobacco and some of the oud. It is a really nice scent. I would categorize this as a manly scent, and I think the name of the scent is Rosa. I think a Rosa. And anyhow, I got the excuse me, mercy. Got the matching aftershave balm here, or aftershave cream, if you will. I like this pump; it's pretty nice. If you follow the instructions, which I have some detailed instructions here, and I got a link to the website, so if you want to take a moment and read their directions, they start out saying that, for instance, was it 3 grams of soap, and then 2 stages of water of 7 grams of water each for each stage. But anyhow, it gives you a list of how to whip up the soap. And if you figure this out, 3 grams, if you follow the direction of 3 grams per container, you get about 50 shaves per container. And it'll run you $40-ish for each container of soap. So this is not, how can you say, not a bottom end soap. This is, for me, this is definitely on the top end soap. At $40 a container, but boy howdy, talking about a scent. Both, I've got 2 of them, 2 different scents, and both of them well blended, really nice scents, and the soap base is fantastic. But the presentation, when you get it, comes in a box. You get some instructions go right along with it. Pretty nice presentation, and you can get it personalized too. Anyway, just little things like that kind of sell me. I do have it whipped up with a DS Cosmetic shaving brush here. This one here is a 26 millimeter knot. Got a link down below, like I say, for this sort of thing if you want to check it out. I really do like this handle. It's pretty nice. I think they refer to the knot as a T4. I'm not 100% up on the T4, 5, 3, or anything of the sort. But I got it whipped up here in a wooden bowl here. This is a walnut bowl. I've had this one here for a moment. Got this by the way of Wet the Face Dawn in a drawing years ago. And unfortunately these bowls aren't made anymore, but this one here is what I think they refer to as concentric rings inside. I've got another bowl very similar to this. It's cherry and walnut, and it's got spiral grooves going down through it, but man, the scent on this, it is pretty nice. I really enjoyed whipping this one up. It was a lot of fun. Blade of the day. Went with a feather blade in this particular razor. This is a iKon Shavecraft 102 Slant. Yeah, kind of a long name there. This one here is no longer in production. From what I have read about this particular shaver, oh, by the way, also, as goes for the handle, this is the handle that came with this one here. There might be some versions of this with another iKon handle. In other words, look different, this one here, but this is an iKon handle though. Just want to point that out. And this one here, Razor Refresh, did the colorations on it. And that is the blade refill on on this one here, and as you can tell, there is no overhang of the tabs. And also this particular here one, if you're interested in hunting one down, it does have a particular way this goes together. So in other words, the base plate and the cap have a line, and they need to match up when you put this together. You'll notice it won't work if you don't. This one here is no longer in production, and it is not a lightweight razor. This one here's got some weight behind it. At any rate, some people consider this particular razor to be a little too mild for them. For me, it's a very smooth, and maybe that's the reason why maybe some considered it a mild razor, is because it is such a smooth shaver. My experience with it has been fantastic. This will be my first time go using a feather blade though, so we'll see how that feels. I already put a hot towel to the face this morning, and going ahead and wet the face and use what is left of my Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Cube. This one here is a holiday version. Excuse me, I got a frog this morning. There is a new Holliday, excuse me, Preshave cube that they have out, different scent than what this one here is. It doesn't take very long for the pre-shave soap. It just depends on your routine and what you enjoy and what you like and what your needs are. For me, I find that it does help on the pre-shave routine for me to prep my face in the whiskers, if you will, because it doesn't take but a moment, and you've already got it worked into the skin. And if you keep on working it, you'll have a pretty good lather before you can get started. Not too bad. Yeah, it didn't take very long at all. And you can kind of tell it doesn't take a whole lot. You get it all over the face like that. I mean, for me, it's just I guess you might say one of those things that fascinates me with no more effort that you put into whipping up a lather already on the pre-shave. Working it into the skin, it doesn't take but a quick moment. And the cube lasts for a good long moment. I've had this one here for quite a while. One of these days here pretty soon, I think I'll go back in my videos and try to figure out where I started using it to figure out how long this thing's lasted. It's been quite a while. Oh, back to the soap. Once again, I got links down below as it goes for more of a scent description and whatnot. And also it has the detailed instructions like I showed you on this card if you want to take a moment to look at it a little bit closer. I know for me, as it goes for measuring out my soap, I don't follow it to, in other words, measuring out like 3 grams. I do use a baby spoon that I've used for, I don't know, a number of years, almost from the very beginning. Matter of fact, I may have used this one here since the beginning. Can't think of one that I've used differently. Where I use that spoon and I have a general, I guess you might say, kind of, sort of, the same amount, not exact. But so the routine of scooping out a certain amount of soap every time that I lather up, as well as the routine they mentioned in 2 different stages of using 7 grams of water. I don't have exactly 7 grams, but I do stages of adding water, and I keep on adding a little bit of water until I get my, how can you say, desired result that I'm looking for that day. But it is interesting that they have kind of sort of the same routine that I've worked up over time for myself. Also, I should mention this particular handle if you're wondering. This one here, as it goes to like maybe a bamboo type handle, these grooves right here, all that seems to work out really well for me. I know I've had at least one bamboo handle that I didn't particularly care for. Kind of felt like where the indentions were at, the grooves if you will, wasn't quite in the right place for me. But I have another one from above the tie that works just great for me. Just perfect. But if you're kind of wondering about, handles with grooves and stuff like that, how it work for you, yeah, it's your mileage may vary type thing. Now this is with the grain pass. With a feather blade. And with this particular shaver, it's pretty smooth. So this would be one of those factors where in a shaver like this, using a feather blade, you might get more shaves out of this blade than what maybe you might typically would in another shaver. So, because you know that not only are these blades considered the sharpest on the planet, they're not exactly inexpensive. I got a link down below, and it was just a real quick search because when it comes to razor blades, there's hordes of people that sell them, and which one gives you the best buy, or maybe where you do most of your shopping at, as goes for shipping and whatnot. Amazon pulled one up real quick on Amazon. I think it's like $35, $36. Of course, I got Prime, so we don't have to worry about the shipping on this particular item. And for a 100 pack, which is, I guess you might say, to a degree, relatively inexpensive when you start looking at some of the prices of a 100 pack of feather blades in other locations. It's a pretty decent buy at that price. Not too terribly bad. I've seen them go a lot, upwards of 45, 50 bucks for a 100 pack, and in some cases you still end up paying for the shipping. It's like, yeah, no. Anyway, you may have to hunt around if you're interested in feather blades and getting the best buy for your best bang for your buck, if you will. But it just happened to be that I pulled it up on Amazon real quick, and that was a fairly decent buy. I have had excuse me, pretty good luck in the past finding nice, especially around this time of the year, you can find good buys on various different shave gear. And in the past, I've gotten some fantastic buys on feather blades, so I haven't actually bought any in quite a while. I have so many blades that I use, trying some out, seeing how some work, how some don't work out so well, that a 100 pack of feather blades go a long ways for me. And even in this shaver, it's still very smooth. Like I say, some people thought it was a little too mild for them, so they didn't really like it that much. But I've got a few more shaves coming up with slant razors, but my last one will be with the one I keep on talking about from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. It's got quite a bit of blade feel, so if you want one with a lot of blade feel, find one, especially the ox blood one. That one there, it's got quite a bit of blade feel. Like they say, it's got it in spades. I mean, it is something else. Nowhere near as smooth and comfortable as this one here. Demands your attention. This one here, you can just about put on automatic pilot and shave with it. It's a really enjoyable shaver to use. At least for me it is. With the way my whiskers are, the growth, shaving on a daily basis, a shaver like this, I could, if I wanted to, in other words, get by with a 2-pass shave and be done. But then I wouldn't get to smell this as long as I do. Now, how thick or how wet, I guess you might say, you whip up your lather really depends on you. I still got, this is 26 millimeter knot, so this has still got quite a bit of soap left in it. And I'm on my way to the against grain pass, so that little bit of soap that I put into this bowl is going a long ways. It may take you a time or two. In other words, if you're not accustomed to whipping it up like the instructions mention, take a little practice, but once you get it figured out, This soap does whip up pretty nice, especially considering no more than what you're putting in a bowl. Now, if you're wondering, when it comes to lathering, I used to, in the beginning, I'd come back, after work, come into the bathroom and practice making lather. And I guess you might say my teacher was Williams Mug Soap. It's a good teacher because once you learn how to lather up Williams Mug Soap, you can lather up anything. That's the way I look at it, because I learned a lot when I finally figured out how to get it to lather up for me real nice. I found I had no trouble whipping up lather with any other soap that I ever purchased or had sent to me, or whatever the case might be. Had no problems. Williams Mug Soap is a good place to start. And yes, in the beginning, it might be a little frustrating. But once you figure it out, then yeah, the light bulbs will come on and everything just comes together for you. Smooth, comfortable shave. What's left on the face? I got just a tiny bit right back here. That's it. Like I say, just my normal routine. On the second pass, if I varied my strokes on the second pass, yeah, I could have had a 2-pass shave. In other words, it's not always necessary to have a 3-pass shave in it. And for you, it may not even be necessary to go, quote unquote, against the grain. In other words, from south to north. It just really depends on what your needs are. Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements alum block complete with rubber band this morning. Typical, usual. Been using this out. Not this particular alum block, but Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements alum block with a rubber band for a few years now. Oh, looky there. I just noticed that. I didn't even feel that when that happened. That is interesting. I think that might be more of a blemish than anything else. Kind of look at it right there. Sometimes, there's another one right there. Sometimes these things don't pop up until after the shave. After the alum block, after the witch hazel, then I put on usually it's an aftershave splash that's got alcohol in it. Then when I shut the camera off, then I notice I've got a spot. But this one here popped up, and I didn't even notice it when I was shaving. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even sting. That's interesting. And I had a spot right there. Now that one there does just a little bit. Ah, that's interesting. I haven't had one of these in quite a while. Sorry. Just one of those things when you get smooth, comfortable shaves on a regular basis, and all of a sudden, oh, looky there. Got a little bit of blood there. This witch hazel, yeah, if it's the first time you've seen this video, this is a 16-ounce container of Humphreys witch hazel, which is unscented. And on top of that, got it at Marshall's for a whole $5.99. Pretty inexpensive at that price. I don't see it popping back up just yet, so it must be all right. That was pretty strange. Normally I would know when I got a spot, like, oh yeah, kind of usually like right down in here. I can usually tell when I got a spot popping up here pretty soon. But not this time. I didn't even notice that at all. All right. Typically I do this off the camera because it does take just a moment, and depends on how much you want to use this, on how many squirts. And I think I'll just go with that much. This was probably about twice as much as I need. But for some folks that are not accustomed to aftershave creams or balms, yeah, this is way too much. I put in my hand. You have a need to see how it goes on, because even though it's just that thick, it doesn't go on, at least for me in my opinion, it doesn't go on that thick. I have some that go on thicker, that appear this thick in your hand, but it will go on somewhat thicker than this, and it'll take you a bit more work to work it in. but for me, it seems to be working in pretty good. I've used this one, like I said, I've got another one of these, and it all seems to work out pretty well for me. Works in pretty easy. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and it seems to, I guess you might say, disappear. So if you're familiar with Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement Star Jelly, it's kind of sort of like that, in that you no more get started with applying it on the face and it disappears. And that got it all done. And it only added about, what, another minute and a half to the shave. And I'm not bleeding either. Right there. That is interesting. I have to pay attention on the next shave how that works out for me. I had a great shave as far as I'm concerned. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.